If you're interested in everything, then learning something new or starting something new is probably not going to get you ahead, but doing the exact opposite and slow you down. What will actually get you ahead in 2026 is quitting stuff and letting go of the things that are actually holding you back and stopping and slowing down your progress. Hi, my name is Felix, and on this channel we talk everything around multiple interests and how you can make money from them and build a fulfilling and profitable life. So let's get into it. And the first thing you actually need to quit is very simple. I already wrote them down here. So the first one is tunnel vision. I know that if you have a lot of different interests and you're interested in everything, then you have this incline that for some reason you think that you're just going to settle down for like 3 months and you're just going to be this and not do anything else. Like all the social life you put over here, like all the other hobbies, like your photography or your cooking hobbies or anything else. And you're just like, I'm just going to do business for 3 months. And then not only this, you go hard. You're like, okay, I'm doing tunnel vision now. And because tunnel vision is painful and I have to give up all the other stuff that gives me joy and fulfillment, I go like this, okay? And this is your energy. And this is time. And you just go hard. And you want to, preferably you go into it with the idea that you're just going to do it for 3 months. And then you just stop and you're done forever. This is not how it works, actually. You want to think a little bit long term. And I started to quit this as well because I realized it doesn't work. I have a lot of different interests. The main key is to differentiate your interests. So you want to have one main thing. Obviously, I talk about this a lot on the channel. And by the way, if you haven't, please subscribe to this channel. I talk all about these things on having multiple interests and managing them and building a life that's fulfilling and profitable. So click that subscribe button. And you have one major interest. So maybe this is your career right now, or this is what you want to make money with, and that's perfect. But then if you say, I'm not going to do anything else besides this, then you're probably going to burn out after like 3 months and you're just going to completely sabotage yourself. What you want to have instead is you have one main thing. So for example, when I started my agency and my copywriting business, my one main thing was obviously marketing and copywriting. So that was the main thing. I spent 8 to 10 hours or sometimes 12 on just this one thing, okay? But I also had other interests. I was into running, which I spent maybe in a week 5 to 7 hours. So the main interests, obviously, let's say 6 days a week, 60 hours roughly. Okay. Then my second interest, which was running at the time, because I set the goal of running a marathon and ultra marathon that year, which I did, not to toot my own horn, which took, let's say 7 hours if I ran like an hour a day, like every other day. And then on the weekend, I did 2 hours or whatnot. And then I had another interest. I was really, and not as intense right now, but I was really into like meditation and Buddhism and like Eastern philosophy. And I meditated for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. So this took probably like 15 hours at night, a little bit as well. And really into that. And those were the main things at the time, reading as well. But I didn't go tunnel vision. I also had like other interests and other goals that were like different interests that I still fueled. But just obviously with a lot less time than my main interest. And you want to keep like the same balance, because I was able to keep this up very long term. And I didn't burn out. I didn't crash or anything. I only crashed once in my life when I didn't have these other things and I was just doing my business thing. Okay. And I wasn't going to the gym. I wasn't doing any sports interests or athletic interests. I wasn't meditating that much. And I was just doing this. Then I crashed because it's too much. It doesn't work. You can't fit all your interests into one thing. You have to split this up a little bit. But very important, because I say this a lot, you have to focus on one main thing. You can't have 2 businesses or 2 things you want to build in your career. Like this does not work. Then you're not going to make progress. And I can draw my beautiful chart. Then it's like this. And you make like little progress, okay? But some other ones that are not as important, where you're not trying to make money with, cool, okay? So quit this. The next one I quit personally is city life for a while, at least. Okay, you don't have to do this. And I don't mean like you have to rush to move outside of the city. I also lived in cities and I still live in cities where this is absolutely able to do this. But what you want to quit a little bit is like the exciting city life, if that makes sense. So I remember when I started my agency, I was traveling through Southeast Asia, and I committed. I was like, okay, this year I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna build this, and let's get after it. I want to make money with this. And I decided to move to Melbourne. And I ended up living there like 3-4 months or so. I got an apartment. And while I was living there, I was very, very distracted. So for one, I was like going to cafes and restaurants, which isn't a bad thing, but it can be distracting. But what was it for me was all the socializing that went on there. And I'm not saying this is bad. Like socializing, I don't want to give you the idea that socializing is bad and you should quit this. I would not advise this because I personally believe, and I came to the conclusion over my life and over the past years, that relationships are really, really important and you don't want to sacrifice them. Only the bad ones. Obviously, if you have friends that are drinking, like you can sacrifice them for sure. They're not going to give you energy, but having good friends and good relationships it gives you so much. It's you can't put a price on this. So I would not advise you to quit this. But what I was doing like the classic pickup stuff. So I was going to bars. I never drink anything, and I was completely sober. But I went to bars on the weekend, like Friday and Saturday, sometimes also Thursday or Sunday, depending on something going on. Then I also had dates. I also had like Tinder and like all the stuff. I was like really going afterwards and approaching and getting back into the saddle. And this obviously took so much like mental capacity. And I decided to move back to Germany, where I had like my circle, I had a few friends, I had good relationships, and I didn't need to focus so much on building this part of my life as well. And I didn't have to go out to bars, I didn't have to go anywhere, I wasn't, because there weren't any restaurants, it was in the German countryside. There was no restaurants, no events, no cool bars to check out, no social clubs, like none of this stuff that you can spend so much time in the city to get distracted with. It just didn't exist. And because of it, I was just living a very calm, peaceful life in nature with a few friends, my family close by, and just being able to focus on my business and building my interests. And you can don't take this black and white, but I would urge you to check your environment and your living situation and see if this is actually distracting you right now and if there are things that are draining you. So make a list, just go through like everything you do right now or everything that exists in your environment. And if this is distracting and if it's actually draining you, maybe, okay? And then work on actually avoiding this, because if you can, having a little bit of a more chill life and boring life even can be very helpful in order to move forward. Like moving a little bit outside of the city, moving to the countryside, so many different things. And yeah, something I'm working on as well and doing. But at least quitting like the excitement stuff. And then the last thing, I quit, depending if you do this or not, but I traveled too much. Not too much, but it was time to quit because it was very distracting. It's very distracting. I was bouncing around. I was like going here for 2 weeks, there for 2 weeks, and I was doing like the whole digital nomad thing. And I've seen people make this work, but for me, it didn't work. I made like twice this progress when I didn't travel because I didn't have to focus so much time on booking the apartments, getting the flights, getting used to a new place, finding the gym, finding my restaurants, finding people because you don't want to feel isolated. Like so many different things. And it was for me just too distracting. But again, you don't take this black and white. The idea is to remove like stuff that really distracts you. And for me, it was a traveling thing, which I quit for a while. And you don't have to quit these things forever. But in order to get ahead, you have to quit them at least for a certain period of time. Like I ended up traveling like 2-3 years later again, or when I felt like I had the income right, or when I was in the state of doing this. But for a while I quit this because you want to remove as many distractions as you possibly can. Okay. And if you like these kinds of videos, you can check out this video I link right there, where I go deeper into this exact kind of topic, why people with a lot of different interests or that are interested in everything often stay broke, and how you can fix these reasons and these things in order to move forward. So if you really want to get ahead and you want to make money, then watch this video right there.